Ready?
Good to go.
Tim's kinda dumb, let's help him get smart. It's time to teach Tim stuff. Hey, welcome to Time to Teach Tim Stuff. Today we got Callan in the house teaching us about smart drugs. He's literally helping me get smart.
I'm going to try, Tim. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I've never taught anybody anything. I tried to teach my niece how to curse, and she said, I already know, you fucking jerk off. So thank you for having me. It's a stretch to have me on a thing to teach somebody something. But yeah, smart drugs.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn. I take Alpha Brain sometimes. As far as nootropics go, that's the extent of my breath. And to be honest, I feel like with that, it doesn't help me like get smart. Like I was telling you, it helps me like remember things a little bit better.
Yeah, it's probably the fucking, I think it's based in alpha GPC, if I remember. There's like a couple of things, like alpha GPC is a form of acetylcholine, and choline is that thing you'll see it on. Even if you go to the supermarket and there's like a cognitive enhancer, you'll probably see like choline on it somewhere, because it's something to do with the neurotransmitters. It's one, and because uridine monophosphate, which is not in alpha brain, but what is in other stacks, such as by Live Cortex, Ryan Michael Ballo, who's a mentor to me. He doesn't know it, but I'm a big follower of what he does. I think alpha brain's based in like tyrosine, this stuff called huperzine A. They're little, but it also is it's stuffed with probably very, very potent, and it's why they fucking can charge what they charge, because that's what you hear with nootropics, as in people have pretty good reviews of Alpha Brain, but it's also more expensive than some of the other ones, and I think that's probably due to they stuff it with really high quality like B6 and B12, and which are things you would take in a multivitamin, which do keep your energy levels. It's all about cellular energy and shit, and that's what the B vitamin is supposed to do. And that's why they kind of list B vitamin. It's not like deep in the world of nootropics because it's a vitamin. It's a fucking, you take it. You know what I mean? But they'll say that like caffeine and the B vitamin are like the two most readily accessible nootropic or whatever.
Yeah.
Because of, they are proven. B vitamin's weird. Vitamins are never like, they don't ever say it's proven to fucking whatever. But caffeine is scientifically, it's proven to release something in the cells to give you energy and to make you sharper, or at least more alert, which will make you smarter in the moment. Yeah. If you're fucking tired in school and the teacher goes, "What's that?" and if you're wide awake, you probably saw it coming. Yeah. So do you know it better because you drank coffee? But if it's foreign in your system, if you're doing shit that's stronger, coffee's going to be like, what the fuck am I going to do with caffeine? But
well, that's one of the things they say, like mind state. Like that's one of the things that they're trying to get into, like alpha flow. Like they call it the flow state. So like, I don't think I've ever really experienced that. Like I used to take it before hockey all the time because I thought, oh, it'll make me focus so much better. I think it was more like the ritual of doing it. Like in my mind, I was like, I took this, so now I'm on top of my game.
Right.
I don't know that I saw noticeable effects.
Yeah, it's like I would say that the fucking nootropics, it like runs the risk of being like written off as placebo.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. And you'll see that and I don't want to get political, like conspiratorial or whatever, but there's like a lot of stuff developed in Russia that now you can have like a lawsuit. Like you'll see it, like, I didn't even know it still exists, but like television, I've started to watch it again, like on cable. Whereas for like years, I just didn't watch television. I'd either go on my phone or just smoke weed and like try to read, but be too stoned to like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like, I didn't know, but it's just like, if you took paracetam, you may be entitled to, and I'm like, what? Like I've taken paracetam, but not a lot, because I feel like it's a whole different world. Everything in Alpha Brain is all natural, and I don't think it's bullshit. And that's why you just go, you're taking it to play hockey, and it has some B vitamins, it has some whatever. But if you look at like the root of it and what it's supposed to do, I think that's one that's maybe supposed to be taken daily, or they expect you to, because a lot of those things need time to build up. Like choline isn't, you don't go to the supermarket and get a cognitive enhancer and your heart doesn't race. It's not stimulant. It's not a stimulant. Yeah. But tyrosine, which is one of the bases of fucking alpha brain, is stimulatory. It is like proven to be in some way, but you can also take it at really high doses. You can take 1,500 milligrams of it, and actually, like, I've only taken it by itself a couple times, and it comes in 500 milligram tablets because you can get it from eating cheese. It's not. It's not weird. It's not a fucking. It's nothing in Alpha Brain. Everything they do at that company, I think, is like all natural, which is good. But not necessarily nootropic wise. It's like Alpha Brain is one little part of a company that also sells you 5-HTP, and New Mood is what they call it, which has fucking, and when you look at it, it has the same stuff as what you can get at the supermarket. It's a combination between tryptophan, maybe a vitamin, and fucking melatonin. And 5-HTP, which is like the added thing, which is like serotonin. So I think the thought is that you can take serotonin in a natural form instead of taking, say, like an antidepressant, which is gonna trick the like reuptake or whatever they call it. The thing would be to take a 5-HTP based thing, and over time, like you take it at night to help you relax or whatever, and over time the additive of serotonin can help with certain brain. And here's the thing about paracetams, and this is why they're tricky as far as being nootropic, which is, I look at nootropic as the healthy brain, like as in not that you're not fucked up or not that you don't have a fucking whatever, but the non-damaged, physically damaged brain.
Yeah.
People who have serious head injuries, paracetam is proven to correct issues in the brain. Like if you have fucking like a bad brain injury that fucks up your neurons and how they communicate, paracetams are studied and proven to repair and maybe help people recover more of their brain functioning or whatever.
Yeah. So like in concussion cases, like people who are...
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm not like well versed in like the exact things, but like that's the basis with some of those things, like with like phenylparacetam, which was developed in Russia. So it's like one of those deals where they go, if you have a brain that doesn't have some kind of gaping neuronal like issue, you can take paracetam, but it's probably going to just hurt you or give you just the side effects of whatever that fucking chemical they were able to develop. Because it's not expensive. You can get 100 milligram phenylparacetam tablets for like $20 or less. You know what I'm saying? And that's because it is, and I'll tell you, I've taken phenylparacetam a couple times and it made me feel weird and I kind of just forgot about it. I recently started to take it a little bit and I think it does something to you, because there's people, you'll go on YouTube and you'll see a dude and he'll be like, be careful with phenylparacetam because it can be just as strong as fucking modafinil or Adderall, which is, when you say smart drugs, that's like the fucking, like the line in the sand. Smart drugs doesn't refer to anything amphetamine based. So amphetamine and so obviously those two big things, it's like big pharma as we know it. And it's just like when you see people in comments going, modafinil doesn't help my ADHD, but Adderall does. Is that because they got prescribed Adderall when they were 10?
Yeah.
And now they're just like, or maybe their brain is now affected in a way that what does your true natural brain know about taking this thing? But they call it the mighty modafinil in the in the nootropic world.
Now, what does modafinil do? Do you know, like the?
It's a eugeroic, which is alertness enhancing.
All right.
So it's proven and now prescribed in doses. Usually, I mean, I think the highest dose they'll ever give anybody is 400 milligrams daily, but it's normally 200 or 100. And there's also modafinil, which they prescribe at slightly lower because it's the chemical. They fucked with the chemical. So it's modafinil, but it's the AR. So they call it R. I'm not sure about the pronunciations, but apparently they think that it can be slightly stronger or more concentrated. So they'll only prescribe that at like 150 daily as opposed to whatever. But that's like not so, but
now is that like doctor prescribed usually, or is that like one of the
it's a prescribed in America it's the brand name is Provigil.
Oh, all right, yeah.
So there's a dude, Dave Asprey, who I know has been all over things, who talks about it. There's a guy named Tim Ferriss, who I don't know a lot of his stuff, but he's been on, like, he was on Rogan before the Rogan, like when he had the split screen, like that way back shit, talking about modafinil, because it's only FDA and all that shit approved to be prescribed for a few certain particular things: narcolepsy, sleep work shift disorder.
All right.
And the other one is obstructive sleep apnea or whatever it is.
Yeah. Right.
Because these are people who like fall asleep during the day maybe, or you have to drive a truck, but you also have a family and you only drive a truck 4 days a week. Your doctor, if you go, look, I almost fucking crashed into a fucking pole. I can't help it that I got to take my kid on my days off, and so I cannot get my sleep. I can't sleep during the day, so now I'm driving a truck in the nighttime, fucking tired, and caffeine's not, and they'll prescribe Provigil here, but modafinil is the name of the chemical, and it comes in. There's other generic brands like Modvigil and Mode Alert and Wake Alert, New Vigil, which is our modafinil. New Vigil is like Provigil. It's the American brand name. Yeah. But the generic thing is just modafinil, and you can find like a lot of like generic versions, which are produced. Sun Pharmacy in India is like the big one.
Yeah.
And they produce mass amounts. But it's one of those drugs that keeps getting pulled back because of its, like, is it okay to, or is it, not that it's proven to do what it does, and it's like, I don't think it's a hugely prescribed, but it was like the 28th most prescribed in like 2016 or something. Yeah. So it is a thing that's been, but I often wonder if, like, what is stopping it from crossing over into getting prescribed? Because I think in 20 years it should just be an antidepressant or something in that field given at maybe a smaller dose, maybe 100 milligrams, because the whole thing behind it is they don't know how to prove what the mechanism does. It's not explained. It's not, they can't explain what the chemical does, but it's been proven to trick the parts of the brain that make you tired into not thinking you're tired. The same way a Percocet makes you not feel pain.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. It's different, obviously, with the pain receptors. They're different fucking neurons and stuff, but that's the thought behind modafinil, is it's going to trick your brain and keep you further away from sleep. And it's why it's great for hangovers. It's why it's great because if you're sleep deprived, it has a way of, I think the way they describe it is like lightly flooding your brain with histamine and dopamine. So modafinil in its, pure, when it's good, quality, whatever, it works as a mild DRI, which I think that's it's a dopamine reuptake inhibitor. So not serotonin, but the other thing that's involved with your mood. Yeah. And you hear people just go, I don't think it makes me smarter. I don't think but it fucking certainly wakes me up, which makes you alertness. Can't you handle anything better when you're awake? Would you rather go out with a girl and then, with the hopes of fucking or guy or whatever you're into? Or when you're awake, like instead of like fucking like you're more alert, and it's been proven to do that. Yeah. But it gets a lot of pushback for ADHD because because the companies that mass produce amphetamine do not want a lesser, because that's what it's listed as, a mild central nervous stimulant is modafinil.
Yeah, and also, do they want people taking something that's not nearly as addictive or
And that's the thing. And that's part of its reputation is that it's way, way,
yeah.
way less addictive.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, as far as like Adderall and like that goes, like when I remember when I was in college, like that was like it was like a substitute for cocaine, pretty much. Just and I was like a big cokehead in college.
Yeah, right.
So like I was kind of like, oh well, I can't get this, use this, and like I don't think people who use Adderall realize how close it is to like it's a methamphetamine, but like it's the same like rush as cocaine. It's an upper, like it's what it is. Like people don't realize that, and I think when people abuse that, thinking it's safe, like that's what leads to a lot of drug addiction. Like unfortunately, but that's what I enjoy about nootropics is you're getting some of the benefits that you actually want and like none of the downside.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think it's and I was thinking about this like because I knew I was going to talk to you about like amphetamine definitely seemingly to trigger the part of the brain that's about like reward and like risk and reward, whereas what you're saying exactly what modafinil does to you is just it'll make you do a tedious task and not think it's tedious. Whereas with Adderall, whatever it is, you're gonna fucking and it's probably going to be all right. It's either going to be like maybe sloppy, maybe perfect, depending on how close it is to hitting you. But you're going, well, I'm doing this shit. What the fuck else do I get? Like, and then you want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas like modafinil, I'd never once with modafinil did I take it and go, I really got to smoke some weed with this. Like I do because I smoke weed. And you know what I mean? And so it's not, they're not, whereas, you know, with some of the other things which I've tried recreationally, is much more like you're saying. Cocaine makes you do cocaine, which I don't have a lot of experience with, but you do cocaine and you. What else?
Yeah.
Which is normally more cocaine, but it's like what else? Not what else can I do, but what else do I get?
Yeah.
Like and whereas these other things are much, much less.
Yeah.
You know, if you fuck with it or you mix it with, say, strong caffeine, which modafinil and caffeine, and that's one of those things of why people try to put it in that placebo category, because they go, well, what are you telling me? If I get a good night's sleep, wake up and drink coffee, I can then take this pill and get everything done. And it's like, I could do that. Yes, you could. You could absolutely get a good night's sleep. But people take it and they go, whoa, there's a weird kind of like, and I think there's only, just because I watched a lot of fucking things, there's only like a very small clip of Joe Rogan talking briefly about modafinil. And he talks about a friend of his who's a writer who takes it. And I think he says that he took it once. And he's like, oh, I get why they give it to truck drivers and stuff. Because he's like, I don't feel high. I don't feel like whatever. But I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, just
like,
awake.
I'm ready to, like, what am I, like, you know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? And not so much.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's conjectural and circumstantial, as in there's plenty of people who go, well, I take my Adderall but that's, you know, you're prescribed it. So that's where it's like the crossover of like, it's something about there's not as much of a heat to it. I feel like modafinil is like, when I go, it's almost like a comfortable cold alertness, which people go, well, no, I don't want it. But it is giving your brain dopamine and histamine, which is what Adderall does at like way faster. To where then you crash and you want to. Where the chemical makeup of modafinil is supposed to keep you
stabilized
on the level, and you're just
focused,
whatever,
not obsessed.
And that's why they say that. And who knows? I don't know if it's true or not. I think it might actually be. I don't know if the guy who wrote the fucking thing, but the movie with Bradley Cooper. I never saw it, but Limitless. Apparently, it's not Adderall or Ritalin, which people might have thought, or I don't know if people did or not. But modafinil is actually supposed to, because of how big it was in Silicon Valley and however you pronounce it, and Hollywood at the time, people were taking it because it's a you know, you want to sit on your fucking phone all day. Like, if that's my job, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I unfortunately don't have the kind of job where it's probably the best. And so my glimpses of what modafinil's supposed to do when I finally sit down at like a computer and I'm not and you just go, oh my God, I get it.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck do I want to sit at a computer? You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
why the fuck do I want to like write something? I'll remember it, but you should. Because you feel better when you do. But when I occasionally take a modafinil, which I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't, like it's not like an everyday thing. It's not like a whatever. I get glimpses into like, oh, I get now how it puts you in that like, it's like a weird, like, and I don't think it's flow state because they're referring to probably the same mechanisms in the brain, but I think they try to do it with like alpha GPC, which is choline based, which is, whereas modafinil, I'll be honest, you take it the first time, you are going to probably feel your heartbeat a little bit maybe, but it's not overwhelming. You don't feel like you fucking did something where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It doesn't, they warn you not to mix it with alcohol, but I do it a lot, and I'm here to tell you, adrafinil might fuck with alcohol, which I guess is something, but I don't know if you. But adrafinil is the predecessor to modafinil. Adrafinil was developed in the 70s in France and given at low doses to elderly people to keep them a little bit less depressed in like their nursing homes. That's where it started. Yeah. And from adrafinil, they found this other chemical in it, which they called modafinil, which doesn't need to be processed by your liver. So it takes a lot less of it and a lot less time for it to affect you. Whereas adrafinil, if you take 600 milligrams, it might take an hour to an hour and a half before you, but you are taking modafinil because once it goes through your liver, it becomes modafinil. So when you see things that go, don't bother getting, because adrafinil, you can just buy it like a supplement. It's totally, there's no prescription needed. It just takes more of it. Yeah. And it's obviously going to cost you more because, you know, you got to take 2 tabs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
Yeah. One of the things like I thought was kind of weird and interesting and made me kind of like even suspect the placebo effect was like a lot of these things have to do with having the proper precursors in your body. Like, for like just pretty much like a steady diet with like if you are like vitamin D, vitamin B like deficient, you're not gonna get the same reward that you would because you're already at a disadvantage like chemically in your body. So it's kind of like when you don't eat and then you drink. Like you get way drunk faster, but then also like sober up.
No, that's exactly. And I've thought the same thing because tyrosine, strangely enough, tyrosine, if you take it, it apparently has a good effect with alcohol. Like if you take something high in tyrosine, it'll take longer for you to get drunk, which has been like proven a little bit like in studies that it does something to your, but tyrosine you can get from eating certain foods, cheese and certain kind of meats and stuff. But they tell you, unless you're like, eat a ton of that cheese, like your body, by the time, you know what I mean? By the time your body takes what it needs from it and you shit out because you're eating it with other things, they're like, that tyrosine is not going to break the blood-brain barrier. So take our thing, which is going to give you enough tyrosine so that if you then do eat and go into a fucking cryo chamber and go on a hike, you can be Joe Rogan. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like, whatever. But I will say, when I tried Alpha Brain, because I was... and it's the only thing because I love Live Cortex. Shout out again to Ryan Michael Ballo, my one of my mentors. His pre-made stack is based in uridine monophosphate, and there's different things in Alpha Brain, but it's based around the same kind of like I think it's a pre-made stack that's supposed to, with a cup of coffee, make you fucking go if you need to fucking do something. And it gave me headaches, and I took to test it. I got uridine monophosphate separately. And it's one of those things where you need, like you're saying, apparently with uridine monophosphate, you need to get your brain at the alpha level with choline because uridine monophosphate is one of those things that like synergistically work with it when they're right.
All right.
But do I keep buying the product until
I level off?
Yeah, because I was new to it, so I would just, I would try things fucking, know, and then with these, because they're not too bad. Like a bottle of Cortex is like $30. And so if it gives me a little bit of like sometimes I feel like it works a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I got like a little bit of a headache or something. Yeah. I just give them, give a couple to somebody and go, let me know. Because I want to know because you know, it's all about your brain chemistry, and you're only one brain, so it's like,
yeah.
But I had the same thing with Alpha Brain, where I was like, the first time I took it, I was like, I gave me a little, like, I got like a little juice, you know what I mean? And but then after a couple of days, I realized that what it's based in is just things that are, it's not dangerous, it's all natural. So yes, I'll take it every day because you can.
Yeah.
And I didn't run out of Alpha Brain because I would occasionally just throw people, you want an Alpha Brain? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't fucking take it every day for 3 weeks and then fucking start spazzing out because I didn't have it. I was just like...
Yeah, and I like read all the studies that are on the website. Like, they do say you're supposed to take two of them a day, and like you'll hit your max benefit at like 45 days, which is conveniently like
less than their sample.
Oh yeah,
which is less than the yeah, right. But like the sample will give you a little. It does, because like they say that you feel it the first time, even though you're and I did. Yeah, I absolutely did. I'm not, and I am always trying to, like, whether it's just like with caffeine and vitamins, like I'm not constantly pounding fucking heavy nootropics and shit. Yeah. So I took it at a time though where I was taking other, and I was like, I'll know if the fucking thing does something, because there's no way it's stronger than what I took yesterday. You know what I mean? And I took it, and I was like, I felt good, and I didn't feel tempted to take more, or take. But, after a week or so, it just became like what I took with my fucking multivitamin.
Yeah. I don't take it as recommended. I probably take like 7 pills, 7 capsules a week. So I'm taking like half the because it's fucking expensive. It's like like $60 for a 45-day supply.
Right. Yeah, it's not cheap.
It's less than a cup of coffee, but I get way more out of coffee.
Right.
That's what when you were telling me earlier that coffee. Shout out to Trade Coffee Company, a monthly subscription supply. I love it because I get to try all these new coffees I never. But when you were saying coffee is a nootropic and it's the most widely available, I never thought of it that way. I always thought of coffee just as a ritual. Like I never. But I realized, like, if I don't drink coffee, like, I'm a mess in the morning.
Right. And it's like, and I think that's, it's one of those things where there's just, like, a lot of things that are stronger. And I think that's why, like, with amphetamine and stuff, it's like, it's a crazy thing that, like, at least with caffeine, because once you drink it a lot, it has that, like, 72-hour, whatever you call it, like the half-life or whatever. So if you you basically flush your body, it takes 3 days to flush your blood and body totally of caffeine when you drink it. So if you went cold turkey, no caffeine for 3 days, you will then feel the same way when you first drank coffee. It doesn't take a lot of, but it's also hard once you're used to it. Yeah. And you also maybe drink soda with a little caffeine. So are you ever really like flushing your, and that's why on the topic of nootropics, there's this other thing called theocrine, which is, L-theanine is from the tea leaf, and that's the calming thing. They'll pair that with coffee. Like, you can get tablets, 100 milligrams caffeine, like raw caffeine. Yeah. And they always blend it with either 100 or 200 milligrams of L-theanine, because L-theanine is from the tea leaf, and it has the things that balance out the negative side effects of caffeine. So it's going to remove your jitters or whatever makes sure you get like a weak stomach. See, everybody has different things. But theocrine is, they kind of like, it's not what it is, but that's how they describe it to generally, it's like a modified version of caffeine. Yeah. So they take the tea leaf and they take out of it what is actually energy promoting. There's like a lot of energy promoting chemicals in the tea leaf that, even though it's supposed to calm, it has both. Theocrine, apparently it where caffeine has the 3-day thing, theocrine, apparently you can take it the same amount for 4 to 6 weeks before you build up a tolerance. So if you ever wanted to try getting off of caffeine, I would suggest, because speed talker Ben Shapiro, he has a thing, and I never took it, but I looked at it because it's like 10 hours of clean energy that makes you talk and I was like, what's in there? I want to look because I was already into shit. Yeah. And it does have a little bit of caffeine, but it actually has more theacrine, or it might not even have caffeine. It might be promoted as caffeine free, but the reality is it has theacrine in it at like 200 milligrams.
So it's like a cousin of.
And when I took theacrine, 200 milligrams with adrafinil, I will tell you, I had never been more revved up in my fucking life.
Really?
Like, I felt like I was walking on fucking air. Like, as far as just doing things. Not like I was fucking
not
fucked
high
up or something. But it's just... But his thing is based in, not adrafinil, obviously. He's not going to put it in there because it's supposed to be like a pretty clean, like... But theacrine, that's what it is. And I've seen that. But again, it stops after a couple weeks. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like with my multivitamin, then I run out and I'm not like, I got to get another, because it's stupid to do.
Yeah.
I just start drinking coffee again. And you know what I mean? And then when I start to go, shit's not doing anything. It's the reason is because of that. It's built up in my blood and it's never going to reach the peak unless I drink way too much coffee, which is going to give me more side effects than benefits.
Yeah.
And you're fucked.
Yeah. Which I kind of wonder if it's like shifting baseline also. Because like, if I'm low energy for like a week and then, start taking supplements and come up to a certain point, but then I level off, like I don't remember being low energy. Like I'm like, oh, now I'm not on the upward anymore. I'm still way higher energy than I was a week ago, but I'm like, it's not, I don't feel the difference. I feel the same as I did yesterday, whereas I feel way different than I did a week ago.
Yeah, and if like, I guess it's like just like the range of like productivity or what kind of life you lead, because all this nootropic shit is for all these people who just sit on computers all day and they're trying to sell you things and they're trying to type things. They're all got writing jobs. It's all in that field of like, it's supposed to keep you fucking. So it's like with you, say you have like a pretty fair routine. You have your day job and then you go and do comedy. Just not to make an assumption, but you've once told me work is crazy and I see you out at open mics. So it's like you have your day job and you work. So if, a productive day is like doing what you got to do at work, whatever that is, and then going and having enough energy to not feel shitty when you're on stage, which we've all been there, where you're tired and it's just like, fuck, like it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you be better at something that's not like we're going like Adderall with like the reward fucking thing? So you don't have enough energy to fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then but maybe you're better off not having something that's going to make you over, where you go, you take something that's a fucking heavy upper and you go to an open mic with 8 people and it might as well be Madison Square Garden. You're like, this means everything.
Yeah.
If I don't get this shit out, right? And then you watch yourself back and you go, what the fuck?
Why am I vibrating?
I told 24 jokes in 5 minutes and didn't finish one of them. What the fuck? You don't feel good after that, where you're maybe better off a little lower energy than your peak, whatever, because then you just go, I'm fucking tired. I'm dragging, but I came here. I'm not going to leave a fucking open mic because I'm tired.
Yeah.
You sit there and you let a little bit of the adrenaline of like, all right, I got to make this fucking work. Yeah. Sometimes you're better off and it's slow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's all about of why they talk about stacks. And like the guy from Live Cortex, Ryan Michael Ballo, he like will give you like a day by breakdown, like he knows waking up, I got to do like a morning this, a morning, you know what I mean? And he gives you the breakdown where he's like, I wake up, I fucking go for a jog first and blah, blah, blah. He drinks coffee at like 11, he wakes up at 8, he drinks coffee at 11, but then at noon he takes his Cortex stack or his little bit of modafinil, a little bit of whatever, and he gives you the, like, if I got to run to do groceries, I take a little bit of modafinil, and he doesn't take huge, like he'll actually take like a quarter of what is the prescribed thing for narcolepsy because he knows his baseline. Yeah. And he knows where he's at with his cholinergic and his synergistic whatever. And I know like when you listen to it, it starts to sound like a little bit like an auctioneer and a little bit like selling you to placebo. Yeah. And I can only say that like there's things that borderline on that for me. There's things that I just went whatever. But and again, it's a prescribed fucking thing in many fucking here and in many countries. Modafinil is no placebo effect. Yeah, it can definitely, you can build tolerance, and it's not going to be, if you take it for a narcoleptic, if you take it 3 months, you may need, 300 milligrams instead of 200 milligrams. But and adrafenil, which is what I was saying before, it just takes longer to hit you, but it's the same chemical.
Yeah.
I there's never been anything that I've taken that taking half of it the day after you took whatever amount, you do more and you stay up later. The thing is a wakefulness promoting thing. And there's times where I've had 5 300 milligram tablets left. And, you know, I fucking didn't reorder it. Because, again, I'm not like, I got to reorder the fucking, whatever. I fucking look, I have fucking 6 and I'm a fucking idiot. So I'm going to this fucking open mic. I don't need fucking 1,200 milligrams or 900, you know, but I take and then, you know, if you did that with Adderall, say you took 45 milligrams, and then the next day you went, I got to do the same exact thing I did yesterday. I got to just work and go to the open mic and survive. 10 milligrams, you're just going to have a headache.
Yeah.
And where I've taken the 900, I've taken 300 milligrams, just a dry, it's my last fucking 300 milligrams of a dry, I just take it in the fucking morning. And I'm shocked at this weird little baseline of I feel way better than I should.
Yeah.
I should be hungover. I should be hating the world, but I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm not like, you know, I'm not flying high, but I can fucking do this thing I don't want to do. Surely, you know what I mean? And that's why it's like a little bit the mechanism, I think, in the brain and stuff, which has just been proven. It's just, it doesn't do exactly the same thing, but it does to a degree.
Now, do you think the like recent popularity of like smart drugs, do you think that comes from like what we're forced to do on a daily, like so many more people working at computers and like, you know, like tedious jobs have become like common. Like most people, like they say the name of what they do and it sounds as boring as it is. Like,
right.
Do you think that the rise of the smart drugs comes from people wanting to be productive, but also like just get through it? Or do you think the rise of smart drugs comes from like the outside work, the more mental pursuits that people are doing on a daily basis? Or do you think like combination maybe of both?
At the risk of disclaimer, I'm not trying to be one of these macro sociological people, but that general thing that we're just tired of hearing about what social media did to people, it makes the average person. Your biggest fucking celebrity, hot chick from this movie, if you're a fucking 20-year-old girl and you're just as pretty or you're doing the same exact thing that you see celebrities do on a day, which creates this merger of where you saw people like Post Malone coming out of social media or SoundCloud. They became famous, like they hit that wave of, everything that coincides with the people who built that world for us.
Yeah.
We're seeking out modafinil in the fucking early, the 2000s into the 2010s to create Silicon Valley and to create the fucking thing. But now it's trickled down because it was like social media and you can be a star. And now it's like you can be an entrepreneur and you can be Silicon Valley. You see it all the time. People with Bluetooths and it's fucking tumbleweeds. You haven't had a voice in your Bluetooth in fucking 2 years. But there's a lot of people who've taken great benefit from shit like, so I think it's exactly what you're saying of how you're going people on the computer. And now it's naturally happened coincidentally or just by fucking just how society and culture works. But now that's the fucking, you can do the same. You're Gary V if you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And there's the attention part of it, but there's also just the functioning. If you go, all right, he's fucking full of shit and he's kind of goofy, but he runs a business and blah, blah, blah. And until we find out that Gary V's a closet painkiller addicted fucking rapist, which you find out about everybody, you give him the credit enough that he's fucking jacked up on something and he's doing something. And that's now where just your job that used to be like, sluggishly going through it, you can do it from home now because of everything that's more specific to, but I think your point was exactly right. It's absolutely the seeking out of smart drugs is now this, like, it used to be like, oh, these are smart people and I'm practical guy and practical guy can be the better entrepreneur because he may not be as smart at whatever. And now it's like that kind of like that mentality of like Joe Rogan plays that, like, I'm not that smart of a guy. I just am ambitious and blah, blah, blah. So then he's putting his name on a thing that's, so you're seeking out the what Joe Rogan became, which was long before any, you know what I'm saying? It started long before smoking pot.
Yeah.
And long before podcasts he's had his fucking nose to the grindstone trying to do something, and now it's like, well, he's the biggest media fucking thing and now it's like, yes, everybody's just like, I don't need to go anywhere. I can just do my get my little fucking thing going right here.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps if, like, when I occasionally watch a fucking, like, a news thing, I'm going, Tucker Carlson, what is he on? Is he on Ben Shapiro shit? Is it just the theocrine which can give you like a lucid, or is he just fucking like, what are they popping? What are they snorting?
Yeah.
What are they doing at Fox News that when he's on there and it's like he's talking, but his eyes are like not far away, very locked in on something.
Yeah, in the moment.
But not seemingly totally attached to the lucid. He's like more in touch with what you want to hear and doing it in a way that you don't feel like attacked by it unless you disagree going in. But if you have any whatever, you're like, really, Tucker Carlson? Like, whoa. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go into something with a disposed fucking thing to look at something. But I wonder sometimes, what nootropics or what just hard drugs are they still, like, how much money does Fox News really make? Is it really just still fucking like coke and fucking, uppers and fucking snorting fucking amphetamine? Or is it they're just all functioning family men who also have to go out and they have to be firing for 6 to 8 hours? That's all you need. And so when somebody comes along and goes, you want 6 hours of total fucking focus? That's where, like, the marketed natural nootropic, but like you're saying and what you've experienced, it starts to fall a little short. Modafinil, I don't think, and some people, you might not like it, or you may not, I'm not saying it's a fucking miracle and it's going to be, but if it has the effect on you that what's been proven for it to do, there's no, like, 2 days later, you're like, I slept really well before I took Alpha Brain and I drank some coffee and I've been taking my vitamins, I've been exercising. Yeah. Did Alpha Brain really push me over?
Yeah.
I didn't lift a fucking 80-pound fucking boulder on my back like Joe Rogan, but I didn't. Yeah. But it's not the case. It's twice the length of effect. Modafinil can be anywhere between 12 to 16 hours. It's like 10 to 12. I feel like I'm doing a weather forecast, but it's like, and it's no bullshit. Whatever it does to the brain, I've seen it to be more effective. Almost like you should fight the temptation to take it if you did sleep well and you did, because you'll be fine, but you'll do probably a little bit more. But it's so effective in the you didn't sleep or you drank and you're fucking. It's amazing how functional. I sound like a fucking idiot, drooling idiot. How like in the like you a snap of your fingers and you open your eyes and you're just like, I didn't drink, I didn't feel sluggish. I just need to do whatever's in front of me.
Yeah,
and
I've never taken it, but from what it describes, it sounds like you're focused on your actual task to where, like, like Adderall, like the first time I took Adderall, I had a project due and I wanted to stay up all night and work on it. I swear to God, I did my hair in the mirror for like 5 hours.
I saw you fucking, I saw fucking throwback pictures of you. You had long ass hair. I can imagine.
Yeah. Oh, this was my like emo punk days in college, but so I had like the whole swoop thing going, but like I was focused, but I couldn't control my focus. I was so beyond what I could control. Like I was not me in that moment.
How much did you take?
God, I wish I remembered. I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, because if it was one single, it's no more than 30. And the smallest would be 10. But if you never took it, you're going to fucking, it's going to be whatever. But I just wondering if it was like a 30 and that was the problem. Because if you took 10, you would have gotten that good lucid, But like modafinil in that same situation, I feel like you put on a hat and you do your projects.
Yeah.
And then you comb your hair. Like a little, like when at least you get to the point where you go, all right, I got this project to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I can because modafinil, one of the things about it is it's like in the design of it or in the chemical, even though they can't totally explain it, it's supposed to not affect your sleep-wake cycle. And it doesn't mean it can't you know, if you've never taken it, you probably stay up a little bit late, but it's so much less, at least I can say in my experience, it's so much less of you can kind of just seemingly shut your brain
Yeah.
down. Whereas Adderall, like once you started, you're like, I should just go to sleep. I should lay down. But you lay down and you feel your hair touch the headboard and you go, I got to comb my fucking hair. You know what I mean? Like, whereas modafinil, in my experience and people who've taken it and told me just like personally it's a strange, like I went for 12 hours straight. And seemingly like, how the fuck am I going to go to bed? Like, I'm fucking wired. And then you clean the whole house. And then at 2:30, you finish cleaning the house. You sit down and you go, nah, I'm fucking exhausted myself. I did a bunch of shit. You go to sleep. It's not like, and there's negative fucking and there's negative whatever. But at its ideal, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of alertness, a lot of whatever. And then just an easy transition into, all right, I wound myself down.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away where like Adderall, you fall asleep finally after Adderall, but then you wake up in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then instead of waking up and just using the last little drips of amphetamine in your brain, you kind of just roll around in bed or you try to jerk off, but your dick won't get hard. And then it's like you hear the birds. You're like, I started jerking off at 3 a.m. just to make me go to sleep, because that's normally, I've noticed with that kind of shit, and ejaculation is the end of, unless you take it and then you jerk off for some reason, which is not normally the situation I take it in. I'm normally taking it on my way to whatever I have to do, and I'm not going to be blowing loads at work.
Yeah. Like, I got to get this project, but first.
Right, exactly. But like, I would, like, if it's just hitting you, I'd say, yeah, jerk off. I'd say the same thing about pot edibles. If if it's feasible and you're getting overwhelmed by an edible, masturbate. It's been the only thing that have helped me from, like, I thought, hallucinating, having like out of body experiences.
Yeah.
Masturbating, it was the whatever. And again, it's brain whatever the fuck that thing's doing to my brain, that pot fucking, some about whatever the fucking ejaculation releases. It really was like one of the only things, because I
wonder if like dopamine then like takes over the receptors, because they're flooded then with an ejaculation with dopamine. If that prevents your receptors from taking in THC or whatever
because there's the receptors that THC only attaches itself to. So if there's some kind of like,
that brain science is beyond me.
We should do a study, and just like, and then like when you look back at it, when we release nothing, it's like, did Tim Rager just have us just come and jerk off? He just gave us pot. Wasn't a bad time. We got privacy at least. Like, but because I've had that, when I realize if I just eat with an edible, I'm fine. And I probably feel really good and I can function. It actually helps with my social anxiety and stuff. But I'm so scared to eat an edible and then shit my pants or have to like feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
So I almost always like empty stomach. And you have no idea what it's going to do to you.
The worst,
sometimes I'm dry heaving. Sometimes I'm like floating on a cloud. Sometimes I'm crying. Sometimes I'm scared.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know what I mean? So it's like,
edibles are rolling the dice. Like,
they really are. You have no fucking clue.
Yeah. And even so,
it's sad when you do.
Yeah. It's like even like the 5, like I get these little 5 milligram candies that are great. If I don't eat, who knows? If I eat though, if I eat a good meal and then take that, I'm just so level and easygoing and happy. Like,
the anxiety.
Yeah, shout out to Better Off Drunk. I ate a big meal and took a little 5 milligram before that, and like all that anxiety, that social anxiety was gone.
I was wondering why nickels were bouncing off your knuckles at high speeds, and you were just like, we used to play this game. But yeah, when you find the right, like, that's like the like the 10 to 20, like I feel like there's like little force fields of between 50 and 100 milligrams is like me risking I might talk to God.
Yeah.
But more than 100, I'm so stoned that I'm either going to go to sleep or just sit there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to drive or anything because I'm so whatever. Because if I try, then I'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like this weird little where you go, oh, you took 50 milligrams this day. And why would you fucking freak out on? And it's like, I think it's like the lesser, because it's like that perfect concentrated dose to make you extra
Yeah.
for whatever your brain chemistry is or whatever you've eaten, however it's going to affect you.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh man, like just tell myself, just eat something. Just eat a little something.
But that's the same thing with nootropics. Like I recommend, experimenting with like lower doses and seeing how that affects you. And also like, don't be afraid to go a little higher. Yeah, I don't know if you share the same.
No, the second I get my hands on something that's supposed to do something good for me, I take more than what they recommend. And I'm not even, but you're much better when I've done that and I've started smaller. It's phenomenal. And that's what I'm saying is a good way. If you get 200 milligrams of modafinil, normally they come with that you can break them in half.
Yeah. And
you can even break it again if you really, whatever. I wouldn't risk wasting any of that because a little bit, but like, if you started with half of one, I think with the way you're telling me and the way you seem to be like a disciplined person with a lot of things and how you depend. I mean, I'm saying like as in now where you're going, if that's how you're taking nootropics and that is the thing, like take 100 milligrams, you're going to feel great for like 8 to 10, 12 hours. You're going to be able to sleep, wake up the next day and don't take it. Try not to take, if you have your other thing, take your fucking Alpha Brain and drink a coffee. But a day or two later, take the other half. But if you take the 200 milligrams, it's not you're not going to be like, you're not going to see Tim Rager like in a snowbank, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
It's like, build the perfect snowman.
Yeah, it's and that's what I think before I came on here and I was thinking about, like, talking about smart drugs of like the dual nature of just that name that they named it. Like, that's almost like it's nootropics and it's whatever. But the idea like cognitive enhancers, but like the idea of like the smart drug, it's like doesn't mean it makes you smarter. It's a smarter way of life if you're inclined to take drugs.
So just taking them won't make me way smarter. Actually, I got a funny story about taking a smart drug coffee and becoming way stupider. First cup of coffee I ever drank right before I took the SATs. I thought, oh, this is a perfect time. I'm almost an adult. Caffeine, it's going to fucking pump me through this test and I'll do fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes in, I was like, I'm going to shit my pants. Like, immediately.
Now, that did not make you stummer. That's just
that
made
is
you...
true.
Because I've noticed, and I had bad problems with fucking public restrooms my whole life and fucking whatever, that I was, like, deathly afraid of that. But do you ever feel better than after you shit? I notice anytime I get a good idea, anything in life that I've ever... Not like life decisions, but like writing something or thinking something, whatever, like a joke that... I swear to God, like, I'll go around, I feel like I'm not really coming up with anything. I feel like fucking whatever. And the second that weird little moment happens where I'm like, oh, wait a second. Like, I think, all right, this is a little something, whatever. The second I start to like write it down or I'm pacing, thinking about it in my head, almost without fail, I have to shit.
Yeah.
And I go and shit, but when I come back, I then finish my mind is so fucking clear.
Yeah.
And that's almost like, I wonder if, obviously it's just the fucking caffeine and coffee and stuff and it fucks with your bowels. But like if that was part of it and I'm right all along, that like getting a good idea or being on the brink of something good makes you shit. And then once you shit, and that's why coffee, everybody says it. Yeah. First time I drank coffee, holy shit. Yeah. The SATs though, yeah. So what did you just eat your normal routine and then thought, well, I could drink a coffee, nothing's gonna fucking happen.
Well, I normally don't eat breakfast, so I'm sure on this day I didn't, and I just had like a large cup of coffee. I probably, I was probably running late for the test. I probably had to chug it. And then they lock you in that room. They're like, you can't leave. If you leave, you fail.
Yeah.
So I shit myself in front of like 30 people that day. And I ended up leaving like after that. I was just trying. I was like, my parents paid money for the calculator, for the test.
Right.
I got to hold steady.
They won't just let you go and shit those fucking...
Yeah, no,
it's like fucking Matilda or something. That's fucking evil. But like... Yeah, that's a strange thing that fucking coffee does to you because you're like, my routine is I never fucking eat breakfast. So normally with the way your bowels and your fucking intestine, your stomach normally sits, you go, oh, I shit before I went to bed or I shit when I woke up. But that fucking coffee has a way of like, it'll yell up that cold tunnel of your fucking, through your fucking sphincter into your fucking intestine and go, is there anything up there that he didn't? And it was like, well, it's a little bit of the fucking meatloaf. We were going to store it as fucking protein or whatever. And it's like, well, there's a new boss in town. And then you're fucking like, you know what I mean? Because I've had the same thing. And now coffee, it either does one or the other.
Yeah.
It either stabilizes my shitting or it does. But I know not to fuck with it.
Yeah.
And I hope I know the balanced, it's my routine. I know if I'm drinking coffee, but I got 15 minutes to work. And so if the coffee is going to make me shit, I'll be at the back bathroom. I'll be good.
Yeah.
And I'll move on with my life. And you don't get caught in those moments like that where you're just like, this is fucking, but you're in a weird thing where somebody's a fucking, like you're at Dan Caprio's for a fucking basement open mic and his toilet breaks and he says he will not fix it and he will not. And people are like, but damn, what if I have to shit? He's like, I don't know, because I'm just like getting drunk and I'm pissing outside because, he said like, you can just fucking go. But he's just like, but I'm like, that's a weird thing because you fed everybody wings and you fucking, you know what I mean? And you have like adrenaline because it was a good fucking packed open mic. So you're going there thinking you're just going to Caprio's to fuck around, but then you're like, oh shit, crowded into his basement, pre-pandemic, of course.
Yeah.
Crowded into his basement. There's like 20 people in a space that holds about 20 people and you have a microphone with a little light on you. You're like, oh shit. You can imagine it might fucking tweak your fucking your adrenaline and your fucking bad. Dan's just like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fuck. But eventually somebody fixed the toilet and it worked out and everything, I think. But like it was just like, Dan, you can't not.
Yeah.
You don't want people shitting in your bushes. We don't like, you know what I mean? We're not from around here.
Yeah. We don't know where to go.
What do we do?
I never made it to that. I think that wrapped up before I started.
And that's a shame because you fucking would. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It was such an interesting. I like the first time I started doing whatever, and I got like this weird invitation through fucking Facebook Messenger. I'm like, what is this? Fucking. I had no idea because he had been doing it for years, but I hadn't fucking done stand up or whatever. And then we went there, like, just like, let's fuck it. It sounds like an interesting fucking. And it's fucking really like it works. It works in its like weird little way. It's a good fucking interesting fucking night. Always.
Well, it's like that sauce mic that that he used to do, and then Reggie and Dan did in that co-op. I forget the name of the George Street co-op
in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
I always said New Brunswick needed fucking comedy, and Dan Caprio brought it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the sauce mic.
That place is so great. It's just a tight little, it looks like a one-room apartment kind of, and like that was my favorite place. That was the first place where I got like a good laugh, and like it felt so good in that tight space. Like I was like,
like seemingly against all odds. It doesn't seem like you feel like fucking Professor Caprio called you up for like his office hours.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna just see him with like a little lamp. And you're gonna, like, I know I haven't been whatever, but then it starts and it's fucking it works. It's like, and that's the same thing with his basement, just like a small, like little interesting space that does have some seats, and you have a fucking, you can get shit like, it has just like a good fucking small room feel. Caprio's not a big drinker and stuff or whatever, but you can bring your own if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Once or twice I was like pretty much just sober, and once I fucking went and brought like beer, and I'm like, this is amazing. Even like as where it got weird, like sometimes they can get weird because it's like sometimes people hang out and are like when sometimes it clears out, but normally it's pretty good. Like,
And sometimes a homeless lady comes and hustles Tim Low
Oh
for
my
$10.
God, I was there. I was there that night. Holy shit, yeah, that was a fucking interesting.
Thank God it was Tim Low up on the mic and not somebody else, because I feel like that could have went like disastrous.
Yeah, I feel like she wandered back in.
She came at the end of the night again trying to get more money.
Yeah, she was trying to get. I was like, come on, lady. I was like, I gave you $5.
Yeah.
She came in and she was telling more. She was telling more stories. I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, damn. what's going on here? I wanted to donate to the sauce mic. Now I got to give this lady. She was telling some good story. Like every time she went to somebody else, it was like a different story of what she was like. I got to get back over because of my baby. And then she went to the next person like, my husband just punched me in the. He used to punch me. Not lately, but I got to get back to where I'm. You're like, lady,
shut up, get out of here.
What are you talking about? Like you feel like whatever, but. Oh my God, her and Tim Lowe going back and forth. Shout out to Tim Lowe for that. He handled that well. Yeah. Very interesting night. I wonder if he recorded it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because it was a fucking interesting exchange.
Yeah, and I got to give you and Kelsey a shout out. You guys with the Kearney Commission, you do so much to help out the local Jersey scene, and it does not go unappreciated. I appreciate what you guys do immensely. Kelsey does the Tuesday open mic at Brighton Bar. Shout out to that. It's a mixed mic. I know I have some musician friends who listen. So,
Mad Lee, the maestro. Yeah. Go in and look for a guy who kind of looks like Phil Collins. Cross with the guy from 30 Rock. Cross with Red Foreman. One night, fucking No Filter Paul or something. It was like one of those nights and No Filter Paul was talking while I was up there. And I was just like, you look like Terrence and Phillip. Did anybody ever tell you that? Whatever. And he was just like, oh, well, and he looks at fucking Mad Lee. He goes, he kind of looks like Red Foreman. Or whatever. I was just like, he does kind of. But the Tuesday mic is amazing. And thank you for saying that. And I think I can speak at least for Kelsey to say thank you. But yeah, the Tuesday mic is a great time.
Yeah.
You've been coming, right?
Well, my work schedule changed, so I was able to get down there finally. Because Tuesdays I used to work late, and like when you get out at 7, like without some modafinil, it's like I just want to go to sleep.
Especially like these with the curfew and shit, it really made like it tough to like because you used to be able to like catch the good late, like the mic ran late and people hung out kind of thing. But when you gotta leave by 10, it's like unless you can just get there for fucking, it's like
yeah. And you guys do the Cabaret Q. Hopefully, like we can start getting back to shows. I don't know if you guys have anything to do with Dan Caprio's Utterly Ridiculous recording. He's going to be doing that at Brighton Bar coming up.
He's a man of mystery. I don't know. All I know is I'm trying to set up a shuttle to almost do like Willy Wonka, to where like 6 people, if they live within like a 10 to 15 mile radius of Brighton, we're going to get you a car so you can come to Utterly Ridiculous and get as fucked up as you want. And then the guy's going to drive you home.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I would definitely, I'll sign up for DDing that day.
But he has not told me anything.
Yeah.
He's just like, couple comics and then me, I'm doing my hour. I'm like, all right, I'm definitely going to be there. Like, where else am I going to? But the young woman Kelsey knows, who was on the podcast we did, which is just like we've been trying to work with the audio of it to put, get it like.
I can only imagine.
But Lauren Haug did the art for Dan and stuff. So I've definitely heard a lot about Utterly Ridiculous. But no, we're not. It's not like it's a total Dan Caprio production. Yeah. But he says that he's going to have like a few comedians on there and stuff. So I can't wait though. I can't wait. I think it's going to be it's a good time of year too. I start to not be as depressed. My seasonal affective. May 20th. May 20th, yeah.
I want to plug your Instagram. You have a bunch of videos. You're doing this Netflix is a joke run of videos, which I really enjoy. I don't know your Instagram tag offhand. It's like at I can.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's crazy is my friend Rob 80, a long time ago, we started going to open mics and stuff. And he was just like, hey, you're doing pretty good up there and stuff. He's like, you think it's a bad idea that your Facebook is one name and you're like, and it's like, because, yeah, I'm such an idiot. Yeah. But at this point, it's like, I can't, then I won't recognize him if I try changing them to like uniform. But like, yeah, I always thought the name Hegel, like the German fucking philosopher guy, sounded like almost like Kegel or almost like a dance. So, and I don't really necessarily, I like Hegel, but I never fucking understood Kant, and I don't give a fuck, so it's like, it's I Kant. Hegel in D's pants, which is just like Hegel sounds like because I didn't know that's how you pronounce it. And then when I learned like it's Hegel is the pronunciation, I was like, that kind of sounds like a goofy, like you do the Hegel. So it's like, in 2015, I go on Instagram and I can't just put like, Mike so-and-so 32 or Carl fucking whatever. But yeah, so that's that. But the Carney Commission, which is just spelled like the town Carney, and commission, that's our like whatever you call it. We're thinking about getting like an LLC to make it like official, but it's our title for we do shows under that name, and you'll see me tagged somewhere. It's a long, stupid
and I'll
Instagram, like Instagram
it,
fucking. But it's Carl C. Callan on Facebook. Carney Commission has a thing on Facebook too, and I think I'm like try to get on Twitter maybe. It's like I never really understood Twitter too much, but those are the main ones. And thanks for plugging my Netflix is a fucking joke.
That's what Netflix is a fucking joke.
Whatever. They haven't they haven't like I kept thinking they're gonna like repost me to discuss this merger. Carney Commission and Netflix. They just won't. They won't. But yeah, I definitely.
They got to get on their smart drugs because like it's a no brainer to me.
But like we've been trying to, especially now that like they're lifting a restriction here and there. We're gonna try to keep getting like a feel on what kind of live shows we can do more consistently. And maybe do like pretty much like a set 2 times a month at Brighton. It'll be the Cabaret and something else. Like, which I really want to do. And Brighton's fucking great. They're always like supportive and whatever we tell them, if they have the day open, they're like, go ahead, like go for it and stuff. And I really want to do the fucking mock trial, the revisiting Casey Anthony, and just have, we're going to build like a little mock court room and just, The possibilities are endless for those 2 hours of just people being like, what are you doing? It's like, for real, it's 8 to 10 o'clock. Like we're not pulling any, like we're going to make you, it's going to just be that concept spelled out in one way or another. And I can't think you can go wrong with Dan Caprio representing Casey Anthony with Vin Brew as the judge and fucking Dweck is fucking Ray fucking Dweck is the forensics guy. Something, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a very loose. It's gonna be a very loose, but also like a structured, but just a simple version of what opening statements. Like we're gonna establish the concept, and then you're basically gonna have like almost like a murder on the dance floor, 12 Angry Men live with a bunch of fucking. Maniacs, Dan Caprio, like I can't fucking but that popped into my head a couple months ago, and I just like was doing things, and like we went to Florida to see Jeff Smith Jr., who I want to shout out. Jeff Smith, you know Jeff or no? Okay, Jeff. The last thing he did in New Jersey was our Halloween show, Shalloween, which was like. Not this past, but like 2019 Halloween. They let us do it Halloween night at Brighton, where we did a big fucking, and Jeff dressed up like me, and he did the Vin Brew impression competition and stuff. But he was at the roast of Carl, and he was cool. He let us stay with him down there, and St. Petersburg and Tampa, like that area, which has a very interesting. I met a lot of really cool people. Trevor Glassman, I believe, is his name, and my close friend John Silman, who hosts things down there. Jeff is also very close with John Silman. So shout out to them, but mostly Jeff, Mom, and no, but there's a couple people who I like. It was a good experience to like meet some people and like follow people, and now just to see like a little bit of because I did a couple things at a Spitfire Comedy House where Jeff had his show that he put me on. It's really interesting. It has 2 rooms. I didn't put any clips of the show he did, but it's inside like theater seating, and it fits like 36 people. So in your like theater style, you're there. So, and he had a good fucking show. It was like a good crowd and stuff. And but then out front there's another little room with a stage. But it's like small. It's like this little like hut, like you wouldn't even realize it. But they're developing like an improv theater comedy club, and they were really fucking cool there. Like really, really, really nice people. So if I get a chance to go back, I'm going to.
Yeah, shout out Tampa,
St. Pete. Tom Brady too, since we're doing shout outs that they'll definitely repost. Shout out to Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Congrats, Tom.
Yeah,
Drew
Super
Bledsoe.
Bowl, what, number 8 or whatever? Jesus Christ.
I wonder if that's a fucking thing though, where you or it's. I mean, if it's just in the cards, like Tom. But like, what if Drew Bledsoe does not go down, and he doesn't come in when he does?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you look at Eli, who is strangely one of the only people to beat him, is like the opposite. Like, where we were all like, no, leave Kurt Warner in. I don't care about Peyton Manning's fucking little goofy brother. Like, I'm worried about, like, can we just get in at 7? You know what I mean? Like, 8-8, make the playoffs. You got Kurt Warner. Like, but they put Eli in and tanked us. And I'm just like, and like, everybody's just like, this is how it works. They have to fucking, I'm like, fuck you. Like, and then, you know, a few years later, they fucking beat an undefeated Tom Brady in the fucking, whereas Brady is actually the chance. Like, Kurt Warner didn't even get hurt. He was all right. They just decided, 4-5. Let's put in fucking our rookie.
Yeah. Who's supposed to be amazing.
Right. And Brady's like this much lesser fucking whatever.
Wasn't supposed to be anything.
And fucking Drew Bledsoe gets his fucking shit. Like, the guy who fucked up Drew Bledsoe, which I was a little bit young at the time, but like, I wonder if that's like Tom Brady in his mind just thinks about that guy. Like, thank you for blindsiding fucking Drew Bledsoe and for destroying his ACL.
Yeah.
Because I got to at least get a little bit into my shit quicker.
Yeah.
Because does it set him back at least that season? He's in the next season and he's great. But is there also like, you know, you never know. Like overnight. Remember fucking the Jeremy Lin on the Knicks? He fucking dominated the NBA. Jeremy Lin, he's a 6'3", like fucking. You're like, who the fuck is Jeremy Lin? And for 10 days, he just scored 30 points a game. You're like, what the? But obviously, there's a difference between the Tom Bradys and the Jeremy Lins. But just of how that spark of that night, you get a chance. Like, people talk about doing comedy that way. It was a chance thing, or somebody fuck with me. We went out somewhere and they had a thing, and I'll get on the mic. Like, it's like you never know. And then those are the fucking.
Yeah, the
Cat Williamses and the legends.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cat Williams. I love Cat Williams. I feel like Cat Williams gets a lot of weird fucking. That guy's fucking phenomenal. I love energy. I love fucking like the bombast of like performing, and that's why I understand like maybe people aren't like huge on Eddie Murphy these days because it's more of like entertain. It's more of like that, like a little bit of that. But I always like that.
Yeah.
Like people who can sing well enough to in the bit. It doesn't even matter if it's a well structured bit. It's just. This guy's fucking entertainer.
Yeah.
Pat Cooper.
Yeah.
You know Pat Cooper? You like Pat Cooper? I love Pat Cooper. Fucking just full of rage, but like an old-fashioned entertainer.
Yeah, I don't
like
know
his specials from the 70s are like clinking glasses, like sexy, like Italian fucking chicks in the fucking, you know, like it looks so of its time. And he's like a mix of that quick talking, like Dean Martin era, like whatever. But as you listen to him, he's just so full of fucking personality and he's toying with you for 15 minutes. Hasn't really told a joke, but you're just like, this guy's fucking hilarious.
The it factor, that's what personality is so fucking important. Like like seeing comedians like every day just in and out. Like when somebody like does not have a personality on stage, it's almost painful. Like I love when people develop their personality, whether it's their real personality or a persona. It just, to me, like I could watch somebody not be funny with personality for an hour, for somebody be funny without a personality for 5 minutes. Like
yeah. It's like even when I was in Florida, Jeff was saying, because I remember him from like his style being relatively like a little bit of that like anger, like a little bit of whatever, and but not like that's like the defining, like he's whatever. And when he picked us up from the airport, he's like ever since I got down here, like my new style is he's like I throw anger, like he's like right from the fucking, like right when I get out there, I'm just throwing fucking. And I was just like, I thought that was kind of like, from what I remember, it was like a little bit of like a whatever. And but like just you're saying about like persona and personality, and I fucking when he got up there like the first time, like I saw what he had developed like a different, like a little bit of like tapping into what was, you know, maybe like the punchline of certain shit like in his older style. he's now much more like the headstrong, and he shapes the fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And he uses
yeah.
the anger and the fucking, and it was just interesting to watch, to like not see somebody for, you know what I'm saying? Because I had
Yeah.
seen him like relatively consistently here, and then he moved, and then, you know, you don't see, like, he's
Yeah.
not a big like poster of things. He's just hustles. He's constantly doing
Yeah.
mics down there and trying to run shows and stuff. And I think he's gonna develop something, like, you know, just like figure out that right thread of like hooking things up.
Yeah.
And with the way how like cheap things are, like, I think NJ Comics, let's start thinking like Airbnbs in the St. Petersburg area, because Jeff's going to put a lot of shit together, and it's a very just, you know, it's good to
Yeah.
go and just meet people and perform for people who've never seen you and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I got at least like a little bit. I mostly went there, I did his show and then a few open mics during the week, but just the, you know, change of
Yeah.
atmosphere and stuff. Like, it was a good fucking, and he's great for it, because he's like, he loves fucking, he's a bartender, so he knows bars, he knows fucking food, he knows whatever. So
Yeah.
he's a great fucking person to like, you know, you go down there, and if you can find a place to stay. It just worked out because he didn't have his daughter with him at the time, so we got to stay like in the spare bedroom. But
Nice.
you can get like a fucking Airbnb and rent a whole house for like 40 a night,
Yeah.
like 2 blocks from where he is, and then you have like 4 mics.
Yeah.
A fucking,
Especially right now, because like things aren't, like, people aren't traveling. You know, prices are dropping.
yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. Like,
I went to Asheville, North Carolina. I think that I like got a pretty much a entire half a house. I think it was like $60 a night, something like that, something ridiculously low.
yeah, absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
And because I'm the kind of person of like, I'm not like a spontaneous, I'm not like an adventure guy, I'm not like but if you give me an activity, like if you went, like, if you're like, hey, let's just go out for drinks tonight. Maybe now that I drink a little bit more than I used to when I'd be like, you know, I'm not going. I'm not,
Yeah.
like, it's just, I don't go out places. I don't feel like, but if you told me like, we're going to play pickup basketball at noon, I'm coming.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I like the idea of like, there's not like we're just going somewhere just to be somewhere.
yeah,
But like to go for and now it's like doing stand up. It's like the perfect, like, are there open mics anywhere? Is there like a
Yeah.
little bit, is there like a comedy? And it's true. He took us through Tampa, which we didn't perform much at. But just as you're going down, like in a plaza, you'll see whatever comedy club. And you're like, it looks like a fucking pretty, you know, it looks like
Yeah.
it at least holds, you know, some people and stuff. And you're like, there's a fucking open mic everywhere. You
Yeah.
know Bob Holden by any chance?
Bob Holt. The name sounds
You
familiar.
did, he's not from around here, but he like stayed in New Jersey during the summer, and just, I guess, had started doing stand up and stuff. So he would come to the Brighton outdoor mics, but not like a lot, like a couple weeks consistently. He's like a much younger. He's like in like early 20s, I think, or something. But he just coincidentally had moved. He was like in Maryland, came to New Jersey just for briefly, and then happened to move right near where Jeff is in St. Petersburg, Tampa area. And so it was just like, we went down there and it was just like, what up, Bob Holden? Like, you know what I mean? And like, he hung out, but he gave me the breakdown. Like, you go to Tampa on a Tuesday and you can do 4 mics if you
Oh,
wanted
wow.
to.
Yeah, which now, like, around here, you could do 4 a week.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why this became the fucking, the promotion of the
Tampa,
comedy scene
Florida
in St. Petersburg, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's people like Eric Hollerback moving down to Austin, you know?
No, he's a Texan now.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anything coming up? Shout outs?
Oh yeah, let's do shout outs. Shout out Vim Brew.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Vim Brew.
The Valentine's Day show went really well. I won't like take up and do fucking, but you know, Melinda worked that night, and Brian was the sound guy, and Kelsey, just, you know, her performances were great, and everybody who came and stuff. So just shout out to everybody who came and performed. And as far as plugging things, I'm working on this thing called Sacrificing a Human, and half hour. It's basically like, as opposed to like a lot of things that I did at those limited capacity open mics, like it's all recorded at Brighton. And the idea is like not so much a comedy special, but like a short film. But it's really just my jokes
Yeah.
during that period for whatever. There's like put a cap on it, and I went, I'm working on editing it together in hopefully the most watchable and appealing way. But it's all just about just experimenting with a little bit more of like I used to like write a lot more, like write a joke and then try it.
Yeah.
And I tried to like really, when Angelo would allow like a little extra time or a little, I committed to trying my best to not just like, that's what I like get out of the 5-minute mentality when it was available. Try not to be an ass. So I know a couple times I was an asshole at like a couple different where maybe I like, you get off, I shouldn't have fucking, but there was a couple times where, he let us go a little extra and then I would try to like go up at the end and do like a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
well, especially with you flow. If I were to explain what you do up there, I would say flow. You flow into your jokes and out of your jokes.
When I take my alpha brain. No, but so like a lot of the things, because I got like I'm doing an album called Outside Now, which is the Frank Zappa song from fucking Joe's Garage. It's called Outside Now, but since the EP thing we did was OM, I was like, ON is now, I'm piecing together like 20 minutes of just to try to represent what it was like doing outdoor like mics and shows and Ryan Rummel, there's a shout out. He put me on Riff on the Roof, which
shout out Ryan.
Which like that's one of the outdoor sets. So I'm doing something, but I'm doing the Sacrificing a Human thing, which is just like piecing together just a little bit of like my attempts at doing a little bit more of that.
Yeah. And check out OM, available on Spotify.
Oh yeah, the EP OM for open mic, but also not trying to be fucking Alan fucking Watts out here.
Yeah.
With spiritual shit. Open mic, but yeah, it's a OM or OM or whatever, but it's an EP. Yeah. Thank you, Tim, for remembering.
Yeah, no.
I go on a lot of things, and afterwards they're like, "Oh, we were gonna talk about the album," and I'm like, well, I should be ready. I should be like, but yeah, that's on Spotify and Apple, whatever the fuck it is. So,
Kearney Commission on Instagram. I'll tag you in it. I got a show coming up in March 25th.
Comedy Cove.
Comedy Cove, yes.
I'm trying to come. Wait, it's the 25th. Because I think Pete Freight is doing on the 26th. So if it's the 25th, I saw that it's March 20 something. I was like, I'm gonna try to fucking go if possible.
Yeah, March 25th, Comedy Cove in Springfield, 7:30. Featured Daniel Nadir and headliner Lynette Palandino. She's pretty funny. I watched a couple of her roast battles online just to see who she was.
I was hoping you were going to say John
tickets.
Hollywood, headliner. Maybe I'll come to. No, but no, I've heard the name too before. So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to get my ticket.
Yeah.
So this way it's just
Mr. Direct on Instagram. I think he's doing the PayPal, and you can find that on Instagram. I'm so bad at doing these plug things.
Yeah, I'm no promo fucking.
Yeah,
but
I think our smart drugs are wearing off here.
maybe. Oh yeah, but Pete Freight, the 26th at Brighton. He's got the flyer coming out soon, so I don't know like if it has a name. I know he did Freight and Friends, which was kind of a series thing he did like in South Jersey, so I don't know if this is going to be like Freight and Friends Brighton or something, but he put me on as far as I know. And so that's the 26th at Brighton. So that's something that's coming up somewhere in the next
and I think as part of ABC Productions, I know Angelo Gingerelli and Joe Borzada.
Joey B.
Joey B.
And Jack Steiger. Is he still a part of the corporation?
I don't know.
Because he pops in and out. You don't see him all the time.
Yeah, but Thursday, March 18th, we're going to be doing something on Zoom. I'll have more information on that coming up. I want to thank you guys for listening. Any tips for anyone thinking about starting smart drugs?
I would just say if you're the type of person who just, is pretty much like you've done some things in life and it's not going to kill you almost whatever. So I would say give it a shot if you want to see if, you know what I mean? And whatever. If you're the type of person who's a little bit on the more conservative side about your habits and whatever, I just say, like you were saying, the best mentality. Not that it's a tip, because I didn't do it, but I think it's a much better way. If whatever you take, try to, like Alpha Brain, take what they tell you. They say take 2 tablets daily or whatever it is. But whatever it is, just try to take it and just test the fucking thing and
try it out.
Yeah, and research what it does and see if what it does for. And again, it's like one of those things. Is it just a placebo effect, but a much more convoluted one to make you? Is it a web of you're gonna get or you get? There's nootropics, but they sell fake ones, or you don't. You got to be careful, like with the manufacturer and stuff. But find a company that does. Modafinil's a little bit different because of its whatever. So for the sake of legal whatever, even though you can buy it online, it's technically not illegal at all. It's just a weird thing that kind of gets pulled back, and paracetam can be like that. But just generally speaking, go to Nootropics Depot. Go to there's this fucking company called HR Supplements, which I think it's the best adrafinil that I've ever taken. There's also Health Naturals, which does a lot of things. They have stuff called like Alpha Consciousness, which is more in the realm of like the alpha brain and getting you into the flow state, like black pepper extract, B12, alpha this, blah, blah, blah. And it's supposed to be like a much more of that like lucid, not like upper, but you're supposed to just get. So there's a bunch of different companies, but Nootropics Depot is pretty trustworthy, and they're very good with fucking. I like them because they send you a free something with whatever you get from them. And one time they had this like hangover protector. It was like some kind of like ginseng based whatever. Yeah. They like throw like little cute things in there for, and I thought it really helped because I was really hungover and I don't normally get real bad, but I was one day and I was like, I think there's that little packet, that like free sample. And I swear to God, I thought it fucking helped me. Yeah. So they're cool, but Health Naturals, since we'll do shout outs, I don't. And there was also this company called Doublewood Supplements. And when they recalled adrafinil, or they could no longer manufacture it at a feasible like price to make it in the same, like you could get adrafinil for like 3 months, but it was like 3 times the price. Because of they stopped allowing international manufacturers to import it and whatever it was. And then it was like technically illegal to manufacture it in the States. But then they just add an FL, like a fluid component to the chemical, and they can sell adrafinil FL, just not adrafinil. And adrafinil FL is supposed to be like 3 or 4 times more potent. And it can also make you anti-aggressive, at least in animals. I found that it doesn't. I took adrafinil FL before Riff on the Roof, and I could have been in a lot better spirits for a great show, opening for a national headliner with a great crowd. I probably could have been a little less fucking miserable and scrunched up face. So, but it was called Doublewood because I think the doctor, the chemical, whatever, her name is Wood. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Doublewood Supplements, which had to stop making adrafinil, so I kind of, it's one of the only ones I really get, like from, and besides that, I just take vitamins. Yeah. And I try to always take fucking multivitamins, and whether it's a fucking hoax or not, I don't think they've been proven to at least promote good health. So if anything, maybe I'm taking this extra stuff and it's working extra, and that's why I'm hype on it, because of my good now vitamin makeup that or these are just stimulants that have varying fucking, I think it's a little bit of everything, and depending on, but I would just say, just find something, do your research, find what you can get your hands on, and just try it. A single dose of anything that I'm talking about, because like I said, it's nothing amphetamine based. And paracetams, even though they have like creepy shit about them, it's not like, you're not going to take, the max is 300 milligrams. You're not going to take it and fucking drive off a cliff or kill your wife or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
unless that's what you wanted to do.
Exactly. I apologize for fucking blithering on here, but I just I forgot about all these, thinking about fucking, people in the fucking, also Ashley Taylor Fitness on Instagram, who's a nootropics person who followed me, I think, because I hashtag nootropics. So then I followed her, and she's like a life coach and nutritionalist, and she's very interesting person to follow. Ashley Taylor Fitness, like spelled as traditional as you can. She recommended I can't think of the name of the thing, but it's like a pre-made stack that she said really worked for her. And I tried it like once or twice. And yeah, it's like so. But yeah, thank you, Tim Rager.
Yeah, Rager's the correct pronunciation, but come on. You're not going to go with Rager?
I think I was surprised that you played hockey because I thought it was Tim Rager, which could be anybody. Rager, I would have been like, yeah, I could see him. I could see that name being called in a hockey game.
Well, it's like more German. Rager is like, I don't know what this guy is except angry.
Like somebody spelled the name wrong, and that's why it was supposed to be Ranger.
Yeah.
But Rager sounds like you are what you are.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. All right. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Tim, play us out.
Fuck Dan Caprio.
Tim's kinda dumb. Let's help him get smart. It's time to teach Tim stuff.